assets.
What if I'm a bad leaver, though? What's a good leaver and a bad leaver in a shareholders agreement?
So these relate to compulsory transfer provisions.
So I've got my 30% share, and somehow I'm leaving, and I guess it covers the different options there.
It does, and as you say, it's a leaver provision. So what you tend to find is companies will naturally want to incentivize their employees, for example, in order to retain the good ones and give them something as a result of their hard work. But as a majority shareholder and the main owner of the business, what happens if that employee leaves? And so
you don't want somebody who no longer works with you
to have the shares. So the leaver provisions are provisions that you can include which require a compulsory transfer. The leaver would have to offer their shares for sale.
Forced to offer them.
They're forced to offer their shares for sale to the other shareholders, and there will be a mechanism to determine what the price would be. And the good leaver, bad leaver part of it is all about the value.
Right. So normally, if you're
I've retired.
Context,
I've retired. I'm 65. I've retired after a long service with the company.
And what we would typically see, I mean, it could say anything, but it would typically see that they would get market value for their shares.
Yeah, you'd look at some parameter around how you determine fair market value. Probably
accountant gets appointed.
Yeah, quite. That's quite often the way it works. You have a valuation provision for the appointment of an expert to determine fair market value, and you would leave it for them to then judge with some parameters. Maybe it's on the basis of one of the willing seller, willing buyer.
And also some
going concern, but
minority discount.
No minority discount.
The company as a whole, and then what your 30% is what your 30%.
If you have a 5% shareholding in the company, any accountant will tell you that that's not worth 5%, because you could apply a minority discount.
Expression, but we're not going to swear on this.
You could say that you apply minority. So the whole point of that is you then get your 5% irrespective of any. So there is no premium and no discount given for either a majority or a minority interest.
What if I'm a bad leaver, though?
Right. So quite often, let's say you've done something bad, you
hands in the till,
you're sacked on that basis, and so quite often then is the bad leaver provisions kick in, and again it's around valuation. So if you are a bad leaver and the circumstances around what that would be defined in the shareholders agreement, the likelihood is almost certainly not getting fair market value,
or simply that the minority discount does apply, right?